Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Elan Becker. He's the founder of the Concierge Accountant, where he helps small business owners in the e-commerce restaurants, CPG, and food and beverage spaces achieve their cash flow of their dreams from their businesses instead of their businesses enslaving them. How you doing today, Elan?
Hey, Anthony, really great to be here. Glad to connect.
Yeah, no, I was excited having you on. You're doing some pretty awesome things. I think others would like to hear it. But to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
Well, right now I'm located in Dallas, Texas, and the things I serve business owners nationally all across the U.S.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for those that have never been there, if you have friends coming in to visit you, where are you taking them? What are you doing for fun? And what are you having taking them for dinner?
But yeah, for fun, there's a lot of really great things depending on what you want to do. I mean, I personally like going to shooting range DFW gun experience. Great fun. That's really a awesome one. Especially I love going to Cowtown, seeing all the cattle drives they still have in Fort Worth and being able to kind of get lost in all the shops that are in that exchange stockyards district. That's a huge, thing for me. And also, when the weather's better, it's a little cold, but when weather's a lot better, just go to Lake Louisville and go jet skiing.
Awesome. That sounds fun. But where are you taking them to eat? Where's your place that you like to go, or what's the food that you like to show people?
I mean, it varies. I mean, if you really want like really good barbecue, I mean, I love going to Cadillac. And then, especially when it comes to like the Texas fare, if you will. I mean, there's Lonesome Dove Western Bistro. They have some really good food there, as well as, Fresh Texas Cafe out Fort Worth on the Camp Bowie Bowl. They have one actually on Western Boulevard, if I remember correctly. I have to look at the location exactly, but there's Fresh Texas Cafe, and then there's some like really good, Chinese places, Plano, that I also really like.
Yeah. No, I know I visited a friend down there and he took me some barbecue places, and I'm from the Midwest. We have, okay, barbecue, but it's not known for it. So going down into Dallas and eating
They're
this
not
some.
actually around anymore, but I really love the Derek Allen's barbecue. I went to it in 2020, I believe, or it was 2021. And that barbecue was just, that was such a dream, like come true versus quality and the flavor. And it just like, I thought it was like a transport in Nevada. I was like, stuff that they made there.
Yeah, no, some of it can get there. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, what do you do? What can you tell us about what you're doing?
Well, what I do is I'm a cash flow expert and I'm a tax advisor. And one of the reasons why I started my company was because I got sick and tired of the third, fourth rate customer service that all these CPA firms and other related tax firms, if they're owned by EAs. So I am studying to be an enrolled agent, and I'm almost there. I only have one exam left, thankfully. But it's just there's been this problem where business owners they find a CPA firm to do their taxes or their financials or their bookkeeping, whatever the case is, and every single business owner I've spoken with, or they said stuff online, all universally said that they can't stand that their accountant doesn't get back to them. It's like they're asking a question and waiting what, like a week, 2 weeks, whatever. I mean, I had this problem, before too, where I've tried to like talk to my bookkeepers and they're always late with work and they don't even answer me. So it's just like at some point, I've given up in that respect. But I started because with my company, we said, you know what, we're going to put an end to that, and we're going to say that any business owner that works with us, they're guaranteed to get a response in 48 hours. And if they don't, the next month is free of charge on us. That's a lot of money that we're, putting on the line, but we truly believe that business owners deserve the client experience and customer service is going to help the business grow. And part of it, also the reason why we had, the word concierge in our name is because we want to provide that high level red carpet service where you truly feel like you're a client of ours and the family and not just, a number like what we've seen with these other CPA firms.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know much about the CPA firms or that industry, but I know just being in the professional space, there's a bell curve as far as, where people fall on it. And you tend to find a lot of people that are on the lower end and just trying to say, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do it, on this end of it. We're trying to be at the very
Well, sure, you have that experience, right, where you have to get your taxes done by your CPA, and then it feels like it's kind of like a one and done thing, right? Just go and like get it over with, but you don't really feel like you can establish that relationship with them. Does it kind of sound about right?
Yeah, no, you definitely want to, like I was saying, you definitely want to be able to find, your guy, and they're gonna do exactly what you said. They're gonna respond to you. You're not gonna be left, just kind of hanging around going, okay, this is kind of important stuff. And yeah, I understand they're doing a lot, but for you, that's your stuff. So having that 48 hours, that's really interesting. I haven't heard that before. So you guys are doing great things. So what are you, no, so you've been doing this for a while now. What's your favorite thing about what you're doing?
Yeah, making a difference at the end of the day is what, really matters. And actually part of what I love doing is like I love attracting haters. Honestly, I've had that, a lot on LinkedIn the more I get content out there. And I've noticed that, part of what I get out is pretty polarizing, but at the end of the day, that's what helps get eyeballs on, what your business is about. So that's actually one of the best, parts of my day. But the other part of it is just being different in terms of, when you're working with the business owner, you're helping them with cash flow, you help introduce them to a new way of thinking. And that new way of thinking helps the business owner understand, okay, maybe I do need to do something different. But then on the flip side of that, I'm taking the time to really explain to them, how certain things work in their business, how things should work. I don't think a lot of advisors are willing to do it, but I am.
No, absolutely. And that's with anything. As a business owner, I want to at least understand at a high level the fundamentals of what's going on so that I can, kind of follow along or ask engaging questions that, you know, it does me good to have a good idea about all the stuff that's going on, even if I'm not the expert. You definitely know you're working with somebody of quality when they're like, okay, we're going to explain why this is important. You don't need to, be able to pass the tests, but understand why we're doing this, because then you start to understand, okay, here's the value add that's coming in. And if you're able to communicate that and do that, you can charge a little bit more, which is always good for,
Oh yeah.
for your
The thing is
business.
that part of my pricing is exclusivity, because I think that with a lot of these other, accounting firms, and even like what we're seeing now with the whole like fractional CFO space, the challenge has always been that they're trying to raise their prices or charge high prices. The problem is that their client experience doesn't align with the expectations that the prices are giving, versus how I'm charging a client, but once they're that CFO client, or they're that tax advising client, I mean, they have unlimited access to my calendar, and I have time to be able to answer as many questions as they have. And I think that a lot of business owners appreciate that.
So as an entrepreneur and, working with other business owners all day, every day, basically, what's some advice that you might give somebody starting out, or some hard-won lessons that you learned along the way that you would advise people, hey, this is coming your way, watch out for it.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it, but if you're starting a business, please look at the state of your personal finances before starting a business, because starting a business is obviously not an easy thing. I mean, in a sense, it's easy that you could just go form an LLC. Hey, I can go to LegalZoom and I can just get an LLC form, file something with Secretary of State that says, hey, I'm a business, and then get an EIN. Hey, I'm a business, right? And get all those things. But really, you don't know what's going to happen, once you really do get to a certain point of success. And so what I advise people is, like, make sure your assets are protected, because you're going to want credit. You're going to want all these things to help your business grow. And then, if you're protecting yourself against that downside, then you're not going to feel like that you've lost everything. But more importantly, you got to have like really, really thick skin, because, all these people online, they say this shit about, hey, this is how you can start your business and grow it to seven figures. And I've seen this crazy stuff where people say, hey, I'm a 7-figure, 8-figure, whatever, but you don't know what that business owner even did to get there, because they're not sharing with you their financials. They're not sharing with you, all the setbacks that they went through. They're just saying, like, hey, this magical thing just happened to me. Now I can go package a course and sell it for what, $400 or $500. It's so easy, right? Because you're taking advantage of gullible people who just want like fast results with fast money. But the problem is, fast results come with really bad fast problems versus, you take the time to build something, build a foundation, and then slowly build up. Because like you're going to run into a lot of obstacles, and it's going to take way longer than you think. So you got to like ask yourself, like, are you willing to really, tough it out for, 1 to 2 years, and then you'll probably see success then.
Yeah, just because somebody went and rented a Lamborghini to pose in front of and make a video doesn't mean they're probably giving you the best advice or advice that you would really even want to follow, even if it did. Like you said, fast success comes with fast problems. You're gonna have to face all the same problems everybody else does, but you're just doing that at a quicker rate.
I would argue if anyone's teaching you how to make money, they're con men, because the thing is that when it comes to teaching someone how to make money, I mean, if it's so easy to do it, why not just keep all the information to yourself and not even sure anyway? Like, because like you have this supposed thing that says, "Oh, hey, I'm able to, make money in like 30 days, and I'm able to go and I'm able to make more money than you could ever imagine." But reality is that a lot of people were saying, "Hey, this is how I made money doing this." Yeah, what they're saying is that I know how to make money by, suckering people and asking people to sign up for my courses, and I've made money fast by just selling a bunch of courses I know no one's gonna have.
So what is your average, what's the avatar of your average client look like? What are some pain points that if somebody's going through X, Y, or Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
Yeah. My avatar is a client making over $1 million gross revenue, needs a lot of financial guidance to be able to figure out what it's going to take to get 5 million plus and beyond, but more importantly, understand how to get mental clarity around, where the cash flow is going, how to understand their tax burden. Because I think that one of the mistakes that a lot of CPAs make is they're kind of wrapping their head around, okay, we can go and lower your taxes by investing in real estate or by investing in oil and gas or investing in some sort of like piece of equipment that's going to create large amounts of depreciation. But ultimately, lowering taxes for a business owner is very, very personalized, because you need to understand what kind of lifestyles this business owner want. And that's one of the things that I really emphasize is when you're running a business, you don't run a business to make $1 million. I mean, that's just a bunch of nonsense. You ran a business because the business is providing a lifestyle that a 9-to-5 job is not really going to provide. And then the money that is made from that business is merely a byproduct of the value that you create for other people, but also that the success of that business, the money is basically the byproduct of, hey, okay, I can go and I can, buy this car, buy this, really nice vacation I want to take my family. So really, it's just about how, the client wants to live over the next, 3, 5, 10 years. And then, I help create a plan for them. So that way they're crystal clear on where they're going. But more importantly, that it's not just about them saving taxes or saving a few dollars here, a few dollars there. It's about being able to save them on mental energy taxes, which is something that I don't think that a lot of accountants, let alone most tax advisors, understand, is make your client's life easy. And that's one of the biggest goals I have for any client I work with.
How about power partners? What are other industries or professionals that you might synergize really well with, refer back and forth with, create those collaborations?
Well, certainly with other CPA firms, because a lot of them are just too overworked because they don't have the systems in place. And I think that part of what we're seeing in this, whole like industry of accounting and taxes is one where there's just a lot more like cyber risk, and a lot of companies think, okay, we can just go, let's just throw everything offshore and then try to do that. But unfortunately, you run into a lot of problems with, the time zones, and then you're trying to think, okay, I can get away with paying people $6 an hour for, this kind of work, and then, you get what you pay for. They're not going to provide output that's worth $150 an hour. They're just not going to do it. So, there's that aspect of where I work with the CPA firms to try to alleviate this so-called busy season that's going on, where they can't seem to keep up with all the work that's coming to them. And I just think, well, I mean, how do we go and alleviate the work burden most CPA firms are having? And then they're saying, well, we can't find people to hire for whatever reason it is. So I work with them on that proposition. But I mean, other partners that I work with, I mean, law firms especially are great, like especially when you're working with these business owners that, need legal advice and they need strategic advice about like kind of navigating all the rules and regulations. I mean, they're definitely great partners. Other great partners that I've personally have been working with their financial planning firms, wealth management firms, mini family offices, full family offices, those kinds of things.
Okay. What would you say the biggest cash flow mistake small business owners in e-commerce and restaurants are making?
Well, I could say there's two different parts to that. First is in the e-commerce space, relying on 0% credit. That's a disaster because 0%, I'll ask you this question, which is, you can go to any bank, right? Chase, American Express, and they have all these cards say, hey, we give you 0% for 12 months. And with e-commerce and restaurants, it seems like, hey, it's easy, right? I've got all these expenses. I've got to pay for inventory. I got to pay for food. I got to pay for equipment. I've got to pay for, glassware or whatever the case is. Say, hey, I can defer the cost for 6 to 12 months. Well, the problem is that when you do it, number one, are you going to be able to even bring in enough revenue to even cover all the potential, accumulated liabilities that you're building up that you're going to have to pay at the end of the 0% promotional period? That's number one. But number two, the problem is that a lot of these restaurant owners and e-commerce store owners, they don't understand how to actually use different credit vehicles properly. So, for example, yes, credit cards are going to work for these business owners, but there's different partners that I especially work with that can get you 30, 60, 90 days of deferred payments. And that actually works a lot better because when you're trying to turn over cash, it's one where you're in a position where, okay, I've got to pay for all this stuff that I've previously paid, and then I've got all the next purchases that I have to make, whether it's food or drinks or alcohol, whatever the case is, that I've got to bring in revenue over the next 3-6 months. So it's really about looking at that cash flow cycle to help pay the payables and pay all the long-term, debt that the business would incur. So that's the first, mistake that a lot of the business owners make. But I mean, the next business owner mistakes that I've seen when it comes to the cash flow are just vastly underestimating the cost that it takes to run a business. I mean, I've seen these things. It's very sad, but I see it online, especially with like Amazon FBA stores, where they think that, hey, when you make all this money, right? Amazon does all this stuff for you, right? They do the shipping and they do the returns, they do all the prep and the packing and whatever the case is, until you realize you're going to need so much inventory to even get to $1 million revenue. And even when you do, you have all the fees that Amazon's going to charge because they're doing all the work for you. You don't own your customer list. You're going to have to spend gobs of money just getting that inventory turned because just merely putting a bunch of products up on Amazon is no longer going to work anymore. And even with Shopify and even with all these other platforms that are popping up in the e-commerce space, like you're going to need to have some sort of branding and visibility. So they underestimate that you're going to have to spend a huge amount of money on marketing and just being able to hold that inventory, and all the inventory that you hold that you don't turn over quickly enough is cash. The same thing goes with the restaurants, where the problem is that they're buying all this food, but they're not turning it over fast enough. And then you have all this waste, which in turn is nothing more than profit being thrown into a fire pit.
So how can food and beverage businesses turn their finances around to achieve that dream cash flow?
The first thing is that, let's say, I like to separate out into a couple different businesses. So I'll just take a manufacturer, let's say shirt. Okay. The first thing that they need to do is, instead of trying to think, okay, let's go and figure out how to get this into retail, they need to create their own retail. Let's create that e-commerce presence. Let's create something on social media, particularly like Instagram especially, and see if on a pilot that's going to work on a small scale with consumers just by doing like social media and try to do like some sort of like Instagram shopping or some similar. And then once they go and they have that e-commerce footprint established, for a second. Then what happens is that they can say, okay, I have a foundation built, and then now that I have a foundation, sales are coming in very consistently, then you can go and you can try to sell to these retail partners, whether it's Whole Foods, whether it's Giant or Harris Teeter or whatever the case is. And then knowing at that point, you're not dependent on them to really drive the inventory. You're not going to have to worry about the fact that they're going to suck your cash flow dry because they're going to want at least 120, 150 days deferred payment. And then they're going to charge you shelf sliding fees, and they're going to charge you who knows whatever other fees come their way just in the name of like trying to stock your products on their store.
Okay. What's a simple tip that a small business owner can use today to stop their business from enslaving them?
Well, the one thing that you can do is I'm not a profit first expert. I'm not certified by them. I have read their books, and I'm generally a pretty big fan of what they do. I have a couple twists to the profit first, but at the very least, understand that you need separate bank accounts when it comes to paying if you have employees, paying payroll taxes. If you have income taxes, you have a separate account for paying your taxes, and then you have a separate account for how much I'm going to pay myself out of this revenue. And then once you're able to segregate cash flow, it comes in buckets, then it becomes a lot easier to really figure out what you're spending.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You don't know if it's all just kind of in a pile, easy to not know what went where. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I wanted to add is that my company, the Concierge Accountant, is on a mission to provide a different experience than most people are used to doing, seeing their CPA or their EA or their bookkeeper. And so part of what I'm doing is being able to provide the white glove service where you can say, you know what, wow, this is different. Like, I've never had my account get back to me so quickly. I've never been able to get on my accountant's calendar whenever I want. And if a business owner really values that, and they really value that high touch service, then they're going to want to come and sign up with Concierge Accountant. And also, we offer no obligation free consult calls to see if you're fit for our client base and see if you can benefit from our services.
Okay. For those out there that want to get a hold of you or find you, where can they do that?
There's the conciergeaccountant.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and they can also email me at Elan conciergeaccountant.com. My calendar is attached on the website, and it's pretty prominent that you'll be able to book a call very easily.
Perfect. Yeah, if anybody would like to get in touch with Elon, absolutely do it. You're going to walk away knowing more than what you do now. Just compare their service to what you have going on. Find out if you're a good fit. Like they said, it's complimentary to see. Go make that discovery, because worst case scenario, you're already in the best position, and now you've had that reaffirmed. So do that. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can also visit me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to the newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If you or someone you would know would like to be interviewed, you could also apply to be a guest on the website. But Elon, I really appreciate taking the time and having this conversation with us. There's a lot there, a lot of stuff that I don't know about that, like I said, it'd be nice if an accountant would sit down and kind of explain a lot of the stuff that we just kind of think is magic. It just happens in the background. It's not my concern. But having that better understanding, I think, is super important. It's awesome that you guys are doing that. But let's all go out there, have an awesome day, and let's grow our circle. All right.
We have the awesome to be here.